Hey everyone! I recently got to spend 2 days in a row snowboarding. One of the great things about living in Sacramento is we're fairly near to the Sierra Nevada mountain range. In about an hour and a half, we can be skiing or snowboarding, and yet we never have to shovel the driveway. So the first day I went with 3 skiers. Now I've been snowboarding for about 16 years now. 2 of these skiers describe themselves as intermediate and 1 as a beginner. Both intermediate skiers had basically been skiing since they were children, but only go a few times a season. Now I definitely have gone through periods of time where I spent a lot of days each season snowboarding, at least by my standards, where I got in 15 to 20 days a season. So I'm not sure how I would rank myself, but I don't think I would consider myself even an intermediate snowboarder, at least advanced. There really is not a hill or a slope that I'm afraid to ride. Having spent a day riding with some experienced skiers, I noticed and finally figured out the fundamental difference between skiing and snowboarding. Okay, obviously, there's a difference between you have 2 skis as opposed to 1 board. I'm not talking about the obvious differences here. What I noticed is, first of all, skiing, there is much more incentive to avoid falling. And there's 2 reasons for this. 1, when you get up on your skis, it's a little harder to get up. That's why skiers carry poles, to help push themselves up, I think, when they fall, more than anything else. The other thing is, if you land really wrong or things go really badly, the bindings pop off and your ski comes off. And from what I see, even with an experienced skier, when you're on the slope, it's not always that easy to get your ski back into the binding. So there is a much larger incentive as a skier to not bail. Where snowboarding, that board is strapped to your feet, it's not coming off. If you catch air, land wrong, and start doing flip-flops and somersaults down the hill, a lot of times I just bounce right back up onto my feet and keep riding. It's not as big a deal to fall or to not land because I can just pop back up. I don't lose minutes crawling back up the hill for my pole or my ski or trying to get back up. The other thing I noticed is when I get tired out, like if I'm just charging down the hill, on my snowboard it's real easy to just kind of slide on down and sit on my butt while I catch my breath. And at a moment's notice, I can just jump right back up on my board and go. While I notice on skis, it's not real easy to take a seat. You basically want to stay standing up and stay on your skis the whole time. So that's the big difference. And I can see why now you see more snowboarders doing, jumps and tricks and stuff like that, because there's less incentive to stay on your feet. Now don't get me wrong, I ride backcountry and I see skiers out there. I know that the skiers can do some really cool stuff. There are some fantastic skiers out there. They can do some great tricks. They can ride with the best of the snowboarders, don't get me wrong. But I see why the learning curve is so much different. If I had continued to ski, I tried skiing about 3 times when I was growing up. I doubt that I would have progressed as quickly or even ride the way that I ride today because I would want to stay on my feet. And so I would probably be more concerned with carving down the hill and not ending up on my butt. Where when I'm snowboarding, if I'm flip-flopping down that hill, especially if it's a powdery day, hey, it's all part of the fun. Anyway, so just my observation, the difference between skiing and snowboarding. What are your thoughts on it? Feel free to type them in down there. And thanks for watching.